Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in this Lunch and Learn. My name is Perla Martinez. I am the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Administrator here in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This month is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and we are joined today by members of our Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities Agency and by Marcy Strada. So we can get started. In Dot, let me share your slides and then we can go from there. Or in case you guys want to introduce yourselves first and then we can go from there.
Sure. I'm Dot Yeager. I'm the Superintendent and CEO of the Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I'm going to let Marcy introduce herself and then we'll switch over to Ryan.
Hi, my name is Marcy Strada. I'm on the Franklin County Board of DD, and I'm an Ohio Tech Ambassador, and I work for my provider agency, Ohio at Home, and I have other roles too.
Good morning, Ryan Phillips. I'm the Director of Special Olympics, Community Recreation, and Aquatics for Franklin County Board of DD.
I'm Kayla Koslerich. I am a coach and partner on Franklin County Flyers Special Olympics.
Perfect. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share this one, share, and I'm going to go. Here we go. Can we see that?
Yes, thank you. That's
Okay.
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So our agency began in 1967 as an outgrowth of a changing society with increased acceptance and inclusion. At that time, children with developmental disabilities didn't go to school and adults lived in large, isolated institutions. But today, our vision is that eligible people with developmental disabilities will live, learn, and work in our communities to the extent of their abilities in a safe and healthy manner. The community will be well informed about developmental disabilities, including causes and preventive measures, and will be accepting of individuals who have developmental disabilities. Our school-aged services have evolved over time as well. In the beginning, as we said, children went from not going to school at all to segregated schools. Now, consistent with federal and state directives for children to be educated in the least restrictive environment, our agency has a focus on the school-aged population, which includes students from age 14 to 22, and on their preparation for their post-school life. Integrated and not segregated employment is the first option we're looking for after they graduate. So what is a developmental disability? It begins with an underlying diagnosis of a severe chronic condition. It might be mental or physical or a combination. It manifests before the person reaches age 22, is likely to continue indefinitely, and results in delays at different age periods. So we cast a wider net at the younger ages, and then progressively there need to be many more developmental delays to be considered to have eligibility for our system. And at the age of 6 or older, there needs to be 3 areas of major life activity that are impacted. That could be learning, mobility, self-care, expressive language, and then at age 16, economic self-sufficiency comes into place. So how do we support adults with developmental disabilities? So there are individualized supports, technology, residential, transportation, employment, and those different areas. And in our case, in Franklin County, housing is in partnership with Creative Housing, which is a nonprofit that supports individuals in over 1,000 different settings across the county. Some are owned by Creative Housing and some are private market units. Transportation, again, continues to evolve towards increased independence and inclusion, and Marcy's going to touch on that. We'll also be explaining how Ohio is an employment first state and what that means. And then we have a department called Service Coordination that assists our clients in accessing the necessary supports that, again, are individualized. So now to talk more about the services that Marcy utilizes for her maximum independence. And again, Marcy is currently serving as secretary on our board, and she is the first person served by our board to be appointed a board member. So go ahead, and Marcy, why don't you give us some examples of how technology helps you support your life? And you're muted.
Thank you, Dot. Some of the devices and technologies that made me independent, well, this is how my tech ambassador journey started. Okay, so I have remote supports, which they help monitor me at home and all the devices I have. I have like a Ring doorbell, a smart thermostat, a Facebook portal. I can control. I have a smart lock, and I can control all the devices that I have in my home. And so I have remote supports, which is very cool because I used to be scared to stay home by myself. I would always beg my mom not to leave, or when will she be back? And so when I got to moving by myself, I moved by myself at the age of 37, and I went, and so my service coordinator got everything in motion for me to have the remote supports, and I picked my remote support provider that I have at Medforall, and they installed all these devices in my home so I can be independent. Like when I have staff, but I have after that, I have my remote supports, which I can talk to them on Messenger. We have a secure thing on Messenger, just like if you were talking to one of your friends or family. So what I can do is they give me reminders. I can talk to them. We play games. I can read books with them. They can help me with work because I work for my provider agency. I'm a self-advocate consultant. So sometimes I work from home and my remote supports can help me. And so with Tech Ambassador, this what made me want to become one was because my remote support provider helped me learn about these things and how to work it in my home. I teach my staff that come in how to work it if they don't know how to. And I can train them to work with me with the technology in my home because my provider owner taught me how to do it. And so when they were looking for tech ambassadors, I auditioned for it and I got it. I've been a tech ambassador since 2020, and there is about 14 of us now. It started out with like 8 or 5 of us or something like that. And we Zoom across the state and we go to different places to teach people about technology. Another technology that organization I'm a part of is Angel Sense. Angel Sense is a company that helps people with disabilities and help them like guide them and track them where they are so we can be safe. So they have several devices that you can wear So I have the one that goes in my purse, and they can monitor and see where I am in my location. So I ride, like Dot said, I ride in the Lyft transportation because you can get, services from them from their waiver to ride, and the waiver dollars pay for it. So I talked to my remote support staff on Messenger while I'm waiting for the lift. And when I'm inside, and they help me look at the license plate because I have low vision, and make sure that I get there safely. And it's just been a credible experience working with all these technologies and teaching people about them, and being part of Angel Sends and Tech Ambassadors, and being part of Med for All of them, being my remote support provider. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcy.
And now we want to hear from Christine Brown, who currently is working at the Ohio State University Medical Center, Nysonger Center. Christine, you're going to have to say your title for us. In the past, she has been self-employed and has also worked for ARC Industries as a human services assistant. So Christine, go ahead and continue introducing yourself and talk to us about employment.
So my name's Christine Brown. I have been getting services in the system since 1998 and have really been a passion of seeing people with disabilities having equal choice in jobs, and also in other things like recreation and other stuff. The thing is, on employment, I did once be in some shelter workshop in Fairfield County before I moved to Franklin. And then, like, I did have the self-advocacy consulting through Brown Cooley Associates. Stephen R. Cooley was in Franklin County, but he died at age 45. That's young. But then I was doing stuff at the when I moved to Franklin County in 2009. I went through the Community Habilitation Assistance Certificate Program and was in that from that job from 2010 to mid 2017. In 2016 to 2017, I went through LEND, which stands for Leadership, Education, and Neurodevelopmental Disabilities, and led to my current job that I'm in my 6.5 years now, almost into 7, the clinical research assistant and self-advocate faculty. And it is one of the best I've had because I have a living wage and don't require rent, subsidy, food stamps, or other public assistance, which is true self-determination.
Christine, do you want to talk a little bit about the work incentives that OOD has, and, kind of fear factor?
Yeah, the thing is, we've worked with OOD and my some benefit consultants that are in different counties, and we do these trainings about what it's like working, the fear that people have getting a community job in the community. We've had Medicaid buy-in for workers with disabilities in this state since like 1997 or 2007, I forget which year, okay? And the thing is, even today, that's still so undereducated. Everyone still thinks that if you go for a job, you're going to lose your benefits. No. And so we have in our videos through the Fear Factor series. We have videos, and it's on the employmentfirst.org. That's Ohio Employment First. And we have videos where people can watch those videos and learn. We're doing an upcoming session about reporting your wages to Social Security, showing that when somebody lives with somebody, how they can prove what kind of expenses they have to make their Social Security higher at the end, and what they really focus on is trying to see that if somebody has any concerns, they can have this consultation through the Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. But we also have in the waivers the benefits education and analysis as a service. And also, like, accessibility can be a barrier. So Accessible Ohio is an incentive through OOD, and it's to make Ohio a disability inclusion state. That includes, like, they've had some counties and areas have money to make, like, parks, like Franklin Park Conservatory, COSI, or other community sites to be sensory and friendly and accessible, because a lot of times when these buildings are getting built, they still don't think about the ADA good. And even if the ADA exists today, and that's the American with Disabilities Act.
Christine, did you want to talk about the Legislative Advocacy Day at the State House yesterday?
The Legislative Advocacy Day at the State House was great. We had such a big turnaround. There was even more people that came than expected, I heard. And they had people from different people speaking about access to services. Also, I remember this panel speaking about inclusion, and we had people talk about the right of access, and the theme was all equals all. So all people deserve to be giving input in all issues that affect them. And we plan to have another legislative day next year at the State House, and also my regional one as well.
Thank you. And now we'll turn it over to Ryan to talk a little about Special Olympics and community recreation.
Thank you. Good morning. I guess good afternoon, everyone. Ryan Phillips with Special Olympics. A few items we'll kind of get through, some larger perspectives and a little bit of some of the fun stuff we're doing. Taking it way back, 1968 was sort of the year that Eunice Kennedy Shriver started Special Olympics. If you're not familiar, it's a competitive sports program that is free to everyone that wants to engage and compete. Participate's not really a word we use. Competition is at our core, but we would be remiss if we did not talk about kind of those secondary and tertiary benefits of the social, the self-esteem, the inclusion, the community engagement, and we'll touch on a few of those things as we move forward. So the mission specifically is to provide competitive sports to people with disabilities, and it affects social inclusivity and self-worth, which I kind of touched on and we talk about often. It's something that we acknowledge and we absolutely want to make sure that we're being mindful of. In addition to the athletic side, Special Olympics is certainly significantly more. So a quick snapshot of our program. We are about 400 athletes. I use roughly 175 volunteers and unified partners annually. We offer 14 sports, and that kind of starts on the local, regional level. We'll go up to the state games here in Ohio, and then folks can qualify for both USA games, which are every 4 years, and then international world games, which are also every 4 years. And they're probably more in line with the pomp and circumstance that you would associate with kind of those traditional Special Olympics. Franklin County Special Olympics specifically, we act oftentimes as the safety net for those athletes who might not fit in a program otherwise, be it behaviorally, be it medically, additional needs, whatever that may be. We certainly pride ourselves on being the program that is going to be incredibly creative and find out a solution to how we can be successful. And that can happen in a myriad of ways, but it's certainly something that we are very cognizant of. One thing I do want to kind of touch on is kind of that historical perspective and sort of how far we've come. Some of the absolutely amazing things that we see happening and opportunities that we have for our athletes currently, whether it's partnerships with the NFL, Major League Soccer, and just once in a lifetime opportunities, whether that's traveling with the Columbus Crew to California or Florida or New York and staying in the team hotel. We're on the team flight, and our game is immediately following kind of what they call that first team game. And the experience is quite literally, it's not cliche, it's true, the once in a lifetime sort of opportunity. Locally here, just within the last few weeks, we had Ohio State University's occupational therapy PhD students out with our swim team for Cannonball Night, which was as much shenanigans as it was work, but it was a fun release, a great opportunity for us to introduce our athletes to some folks that might not otherwise get to see who we are. That group specifically works a lot with kids, and we were able to kind of show the adult side of that, which was a huge win. Yesterday, for example, we were at the Columbus Police Department Academy with some cadets, and we had 3 of our athletes out talking about developmental disabilities, March being DD Awareness Month, and Special Olympics, and kind of who they are, what they've done, what they're proud of, and being able to articulate a little of what makes us unique. So when we have officers engaging our athletes in the community, sometimes even just that little bit of patience, when it takes us maybe a moment to gather our thoughts and conversation, just being patient and giving us an extra beat, that in and of itself being such a win in terms of engagement. So those are some of the great things happening now. Moving backwards, again, 1968, July 20th, Soldier Field was the first Special Olympics Games, and Eunice Kennedy Shriver, being who she was all about inclusion and trying to make things happen. And one of the not often told stories is they wanted to offer swimming. And so reaching out to the places in Chicago said, hey, we're going to need access to some pools. And they were unequivocally told no, because they not only did not want people of color, but people with disabilities in public pools. That was very much not okay. So Eunice, being one of both means and gumption, if you will, decided she would build her own pool right smack in the middle of Soldier Field in Chicago. And the photos from that are black and white, but absolutely incredible of the sheer joy, which you can imagine Chicago in July was often probably very hot and humid, and the sheer joy of folks being in the water was absolutely fantastic. And so we talk often about that, right? The impact that we have as an organization, whether it's agency-wide as a county board or Special Olympics in general, on the people that we serve, and as we should, right? That's our job, that's our mission statement. One of the things I'm very fortunate to be able to see is the other side of that. I get to see the impact that our athletes have on the community, specifically, not only community members, but very pointedly, the volunteers and the coaches within our program. I've seen interns come through our Special Olympics program change their careers. I've seen, generational coaches, right? Fathers with daughters, moms with sons. We have a family right now that 4 siblings, their spouses and their kids are all engaged as coaches and partners within our program. To articulate that, a little bit more. And from a unique perspective, I have Kayla Kozlarich with us here today. And Kayla has been a coach with us going on a decade at this point in time, unified partner on Ohio's first ever unified soccer team at the USA Games in 2022, silver medal. Still a little salty about that loss to the Bahamas, but that's neither here nor there. So Kayla, by all means, please go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. So like Ryan said, I have been involved with the program going on 10 years. I moved to Ohio from Illinois, wanted to get involved in the community here, meet some new people, make some new friends. I got connected with Ryan, and the rest is history, I guess you'd say. I have the unique, and I would call incredible opportunity of both coaching various sports within Franklin County and, like you mentioned, participating in unified soccer specifically. That is, again, an incredible and unique experience. I get to play alongside some of the athletes that I coach, which is awesome. We go through the same training, the same practices. We're going through the same game together and participating together, which is an absolute incredible opportunity. That is super unique. I would say the impact that it's had on me and my family has also been pretty immense and almost immeasurable. He mentioned family. My first daughter went to her first track practice when she was 2 months old, a few years ago, and has been along for the ride ever since. And I have a new little one that will surely do the same. Watching some of the other coaches' families grow up within Special Olympics, I think, is a unique and opportunity for my kids and potentially their friends to see, a side of a world that they may not see every day at school or every day in their communities, which is incredible. On top of that, I've had, my employers help support some of the various events that we've done with Franklin County. And then even, outside of that, recruiting friends as coaches and watching, more and more people see what we do at Franklin County Special Olympics and want to be involved, which is awesome. They see the impact we're making. They see what an impact it has on me and my family and my friends, and they want to get involved, and it kind of grows from there. So I would say that impact is almost immeasurable.
Absolutely. So very briefly, unified sports is where we have athletes competing alongside of our unified partners. Kayla and I have both served as unified partners in various sports over the years. Unified sports has absolutely just blossomed and grown exponentially over the last probably decade. And it started very small, and we still have athletes that are hard no, right? I want to play on a team that is just Special Olympics athletes. We certainly offer that. We have others that are never happier than talking a little bit of trash to what could be their coach and unified partner and competing right alongside and against, which the beauty of choice, much like what we've talked about already, the beauty of choice is really what makes that special, is having the opportunity to pick what's right for you and why it's right for you, or to bounce back and forth as you sort of see fit. We're incredibly fortunate. Franklin County Special Olympics has done some great things. I think that the folks that would talk from the coach, I was a coach for 7 years before I took the staff position. It changes our lives. We're incredibly thankful. I think the impact that it has on the community is not to be undervalued. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I do have a couple of questions regarding the Special Olympic events, especially if they happen here in Franklin County. Is there anywhere where we can go to find out more about when they are, or where can we go watch, or how do we support?
Absolutely. So there's a couple of ways. Certainly reaching out to me directly is very easy. Ryan.Phillips at fcbdd.org. You can always shoot me an email. We have on our county board on the FCBDD site, there's a Special Olympics page, and we put stuff up there. The easiest way is to reach out to us directly. We have everything from groups, right, to individuals, one-day opportunities to larger kind of season volunteering opportunities. I think if nothing else, we are incredibly creative and opportunistic and try to find the best fit for whatever that particular itch is that you're looking to scratch.
Perfect, thank you. We'll make sure to post that online whenever we upload this video to YouTube as well. We'll put all that information there. Dot? turn it over to you.
Okay, I guess in closing, Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month motto this year is all means all abilities, all voices, all of us. What we're doing to highlight throughout this month we'll be posting on our Facebook page and on Instagram different stories, and I know the Special Olympics Facebook page is doing something similar as well. Just so, again, hearing from the voices of the people that we serve and what they want to share. As far as what we would want people to be aware of, and in terms of this month, is we want to put the person first. It's about the person, and they bring, each one of us brings gifts. And so that's what we would encourage people to focus on. And that's, I guess, the best way to sum it up.
Thank you. Yeah. So, well, that was going to be one of my questions, and I'm welcoming, and I'd like each one of you to answer from your own perspective. Like Marcy, what would you like for people to be more aware of when it comes to intellectual and developmental disabilities?
To listen to the person, because who better to know about people with disabilities but us with a disability? And I think that's real important, because some people talk to our care providers, our parents, but they don't really talk to us. And that's one thing that I like to tell people, to speak up for themselves and learn that you can talk to your doctors or different people. You can get your word out, what you want people to hear.
Thank you. Christine?
I can say that it's important for you to be sharing and sharing your voice of what you feel is important. We have created some clear language books and pages about, like, my mental health toolkit, and also the responsibility, what your doctor should be doing when meeting with you. And we have some other clear language documents as well. But I agree with Marcy that they always should listen to the individual, because if the individuals didn't exist, the county boards wouldn't exist, and this job economy wouldn't exist.
That is true. From the group over at Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities, I will also like your opinion as people who work directly, with members of, unified sports, the Special Olympics. What is it that you like people to be more aware of that people are usually not aware of?
I'm never at a loss for words. I'm happy to jump in. No, to people in general, right? Like I have the great opportunity to speak to groups often, and one of the things that I think is so important, just it's so easy. Say hello. Just say hello, right? Out and about. You're at the mall. You're at the grocery store. You're getting gas. You're whatever. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Eye contact. Say hello. So many of our folks, and Marcy alluded to it a little bit, right? They're talked around. They're talked about. They're literally a foot away, and the conversation is all about them, but they're not engaged. Right? Much less Joe or Jane Public acknowledging, saying hello. We're in the heart of the Midwest, right? We hold doors. We say, go ahead at a stop sign. We say hello. We wave. Just be kind. Say hello. It's literally that simple.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would say if you're interested in getting involved, give it a shot. I did, and it was one of the most incredible things that I've done, in my life. And we'll continue to do it. So I would say if you're interested at all, get involved, give it a shot, meet some new people. You'll probably make some new friends and have a lot of fun. So
one of my favorite lines, if you're a bad person with extra time on your hands, you don't call me. We get really, really good people, right?
Yeah.
That's who comes and helps with Special Olympics. It's fantastic to be surrounded by great people.
And Ryan coordinates all of our volunteers. So if you may not be athletically gifted or inclined, maybe.
I will take,
We'll find a spot for
Yes.
anyone who wants to.
enthusiasm over athleticism any day of the week.
Right.
I need enthusiastic volunteers, always.
Thank you for those answers. What can we do to continue raising awareness, not just this month, because, you know, everything is about, you know, trying to like highlight Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month this month, but how can we continue doing that every month? Who? I mean, anyone.
Well, how can we do it? Go ahead, Christine, you can go.
Thanks.
Then I'll go.
There's like the Assistive Technology Awareness Month. There's Mental Health Awareness Month. There's also like Public Safety Awareness Month and much more. The list is like a dictionary, okay? You're so big, it's so huge, we can sleep on it to know tons of titles. We plan to have Columbus City Council recognize DD Awareness Month and even Assistive Technology Awareness Month, because how Marcy's cousin is chair of city council. So we get that done at times. So we get a lot of these resolutions when it's to certain awareness months and have it plaqued.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah, like one thing I like is like when I tell I work at my provider agency and I tell other people too on speeches that take your clients, your individuals to a conference and go with them, and then you'll know what's going on, DD Awareness Day, everything like that, because some providers don't know. So it's good for us to tell them because they can help us on each important thing. Like me and Christine, we go, like Christine said, we go to Columbus City Council. My cousin is Shannon Harden, and he lets us speak there about issues and things that's going on like that. And it's helpful to have your staff and parents to know about which important month it is to celebrate people with disabilities, because I think it's very important because that's how they can learn about us.
Thank you, Marcy. Dot, what can we do to continue raising awareness, not just this month, but every month?
So one project that we're working on, and I think Christine alluded to it, is a statewide initiative with some extra funding associated with it around making our communities more accessible. And this project is around having public venues, assisting them with installing what's called universal changing tables that are adult sized for people who might be attending an event, a theater performance, which might span quite a bit of time and would provide a lot more opportunity for them to be included in those activities and increase the dignity of having that need. And there is information on our website about that project, and we call that Changing Spaces. We have an event actually next week on the 21st between noon and 1 here at our Johnstown Road location to kind of just show what one of those looks like in action. But that's a project that we're going to be, it's going to be happening throughout this year. And so that's another initiative that is just continuing that path of that evolution of additional layers of how do we make our community more inclusive? Which is another one of those projects that we're doing throughout this year.
Perfect. We'll definitely be highlighting your open house for changing spaces. I believe my office received the invitation, so I know someone will be there for that. Christine, you mentioned the tech summit. Do you have the dates for the tech summit?
No, I don't right now, but the thing is, the OSU Nysonger Center co-hosts it. I think it's going to be in July or August, but we will give info as soon as possible. And a lot of times it's speakers who talk from AT Ohio, Assistive Technology Ohio, and then there's vendors and there's people speaking. I know the tech ambassadors have spoken there before. Also, like, I wanted to point this out, what we have in March is the provider fair, the 27th. This time the building is going to be in the Kasich building instead of the Lausch building, and it's twice the size, so they plan to have some kind of trolley or something going around to pick people up because it's going to be twice that size. But we have the paid providers and also community resources, which include the Franklin County Board of DD Service Coordination, vending tables like Ohio Self-Determination Association, the Nysonger Center, and the list continues. And so we have that coming up, just to tell you. But we are going to, I also wanted to point this out, that I co-coordinate a podcast called Disability 24/7 with friend Kyle Pigman, who works at Disability Rights Ohio. And we interviewed people like the executive director of Special Olympics Ohio, and also we interviewed the former superintendent Jed of his years, and also about health equity and other things. So we continue to make any kind of videos with different lessons, because when it's two people with a disability being the co-hosts, that's more shows people with disabilities are strong to be the co-host instead of only a person without a disability.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Christine. Well, I mean,
And another thing is if you need like tech ambassadors to show other individuals with disabilities or day programs, the tech ambassadors, if you go to ohiotechambassadors.org, you can request a tech ambassador. All of us are in different parts of the state. I represent Central Ohio, but there's several, like it's 14 of us. It's a whole lot. They just added more. It feels like an army. And then also, like Christine, I have a podcast that's called Ohio DD Talks, and it's you can find it on YouTube, and it's really cool. It's from the Ohio DD Council. And then I'm also the Angelson's program organization. They can come and do things for you too, and sometimes it's helpful to get those technologies too.
thank you, Marcy. Thank you, yeah, for that. We'll make sure to disseminate this information as well. Christine, you mentioned the state summer games very briefly in the chat. Or Ryan, is someone able to provide me some information about the state summer games?
Well, I can first share that I've been getting to do this for at least the last 2 years,
Okay.
and it's been great. We have it over at the Ohio State University during the summer, the dorms, and also the Special Olympics, Ohio, and others have these free screenings. Our OSU Nysonger dental clinic director, Steve Biestra, has a clinic where there's students checking people's teeth and giving ideas what you should do. They also have stuff to do in overall health screenings and your eye doctors, and other screenings that happen. They also have a used to be called 10 Town. I don't know that name now, forget. But it's where there's people selling all kinds of merchandise and stuff. But we always have the torch at the certain site. I forget. What is the place, Brian?
Yeah, I can fill in a couple blanks for you. So Summer Games is the last full weekend in June, 27, 28, 29, 28, 29, 30, something along those lines. It's literally the last 3 days of June. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the campus of Ohio State University. Healthy Athletes, Christine, is the program you were talking. What people do not know, Special Olympics is the largest provider of free healthcare in the world. I will say that one more time because everybody's like, wait, what? Largest provider of free healthcare in the world. Now, traditionally outside of the United States is where much of that happens. However, I was in USA Games a few years ago, and they had a young lady going through the hearing portion of the Healthy Athletes. And on site that day, this young lady who was in her late teens, I believe, heard for the first time in her life. They were able to diagnose and fix it on site, which is absolutely incredible. So Healthy Athletes, for those Special Olympics athletes, make sure that that's sort of in there. But yeah, Healthy Athletes they will go through, there's dental, there's vision, there's hearing. There's a lot of kind of pieces to that program at the larger events, kind of USA Games and larger. They're a little deeper screenings, but we've been trying to get that at the state level sort of as well. Tent Town, or the area formerly known as Tent Town, Christine, I still call it that as well, frankly, is kind of that carnival atmosphere. There's games, there's fun stuff, there's free options. There's certainly some $4 options as well. But that's kind of a gathering place for all of the athletes and a communal spot to just hang out, relax with your friends and goof around a little bit. Did I miss anything?
And those dates were the 28th, 29th, and 30th.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We'll be able to put that out there. Also, we want to be able to connect people with services, happening here in Franklin County as well. So we'll definitely have, I'll send this information out to our Family Stabilization Unit, which also provides services for the community. So there is also present there. And we'll continue to be engaged, especially through the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We really want to be able to keep supporting a lot of the events, or just creating more awareness and have a voice out there for the community, for the board and all the work that you do. So we definitely will keep that out and keep supporting you guys. And I just want to thank you. We're getting close to, our hour mark. So I just want to really thank you for being here, Marcy, Christine, and everyone over at the Board of Developmental Disabilities right now, to have taken part of this Lunch and Learn, so the community can learn more about all the work that you do. I mean, really learn about, tech ambassadors, Marcy. That's like great information that we'll be able to put out there. Christine, thank you also as well for being here. And, Dot, I just want to say congratulations again. I know that, you were just stepped into your role, and we'll be sure to keep you guys engaged, and we'll be there on the 21st as well.
Great.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.